appointment, if we can call it that, of Elon Musk to a government department that does not exist, which they are both now calling the Department of Government Efficiency, does not require Senate confirmation. If it did, Elon Musk would be asked questions about his publicly proclaimed drug use, which is one of the reasons the New York Times breaking news tonight is that Elon Musk has violated the security reporting rules for his and his company's top secret security clearance. If Elon Musk had to submit to a Senate confirmation hearing, he would be asked about an email reported by the New York Times tonight, written by Cody Miller, an Army veteran who worked on security clearances at Elon Musk's company, SpaceX. Just over a month ago, Cody Miller wrote an internal email at that company saying, according to the New York Times, SpaceX has a "let's push it till we are caught" mentality, Mr. Miller wrote, adding that top executives followed the rules only when convenient for senior leaders. That same day, SpaceX's Human Resources Department called Mr. Miller and pushed him to leave. 3 people with knowledge of the company said. Mr. Miller agreed to resign. Pete Hegseth, who still has not secured the votes to be confirmed as Secretary of Defense, has promised that he will quit drinking if and only if he is sworn in as Secretary of Defense. But Elon Musk has not promised to stop using drugs in violation of his top security clearance. Elon Musk had fun smoking pot on a podcast, but that was a violation of his top security clearance. Tulsi Gabbard is not even close to securing enough Republican votes to be confirmed as Director of National Intelligence. Reuters is reporting that 8 Republican senators have doubts about Tulsi Gabbard. Quote, the transition team source and the source familiar with the issue said 8 Republican senators harbored doubts about supporting the former lawmaker because she was unprepared to answer tough questions during an initial round of meetings last week on Capitol Hill. Her failure to address those questions sufficiently, her 2017 visit to Syria to meet then Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, and her lack of significant intelligence experience fueled those concerns, the sources said. In other words, Tulsi Gabbard's meetings with senators have harmed her chances for confirmation, not helped. It only takes 4 Republican senators joining with Democrats to defeat a Trump nomination in the Senate. As of now, Reuters reporting 8 are not there yet, not ready to vote for Tulsi Gabbard. Pete Hegseth there's a poll on Pete Hegseth, according to a recent poll, has the support of only 17% of Americans for confirmation. That means that most Trump voters do not support Pete Hegseth for confirmation as Secretary of Defense. Most Trump voters do not want a Secretary of Defense with a drinking problem so severe that he has decided to promise to stop drinking if he gets the job. Robert Kennedy Jr., who was a heroin addict in college, nodding off in class, didn't take a single pre-med science course in college, not one. He could not have passed a single pre-med science requirement. He is the most unqualified nominee for Secretary of Health and Human Services imaginable. Today, Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, who is no relation to the nominee, who has not yet met with Robert Kennedy, did say something today that Robert Kennedy sharply disagrees with.
Polio vaccine has saved hundreds and hundreds of millions of lives in the world.
Robert Kennedy Jr. disagrees with that completely. He says the polio vaccine has killed more people than any other vaccine, and that is a lie. That's a Kennedy lie. And now, when asked about the polio vaccine in Senate hallways, Robert Kennedy Jr. says this.
Mr. Kennedy, what's your position on the polio vaccine?
Do you mind repeating what you said previously about the polio vaccine?
Do you support it?
Yeah, I support it. Here is what Robert Kennedy said about the polio vaccine last year.
There's no vaccine that is, safe and effective.
Those are big words. What about the polio? Can we talk about the polio?
Well, here's the problem.
Yes.
Here's the problem. 98 million people who got that vaccine in my generation got it, and now you've had this explosion of soft tissue cancers in our generation that kill many, 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 many more people than polio ever did. So if you say to me that the polio vaccine was effective against polio, I'm going to say yes. And if you say to me, did it kill more people, did it cause more deaths than avert, I would say I don't know, because we don't have the data on that.
That uneducated buffoon did not take a single pre-med science course in college. He could never get through organic chemistry or inorganic chemistry. And in the class I was in with him in college, he could not keep his eyes open. I did not know then that he was a heroin addict every day he was in college. He has said he was a heroin addict for 14 years. And while he was a heroin addict, his powerful uncle, Senator Ted Kennedy, managed to get him a job in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. And while he was working for the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, he was committing drug crimes every day, for which he was finally arrested, charged, and convicted. And that is who Donald Trump wants to be Secretary of Health and Human Services. A science ignoramus who was in a heroin stupor every day that he could have been studying science in college. It is no surprise that the heroin addict, convicted criminal, turned self-described medical expert does not have the votes yet to be confirmed by the United States Senate. Republican Senator Mitch McConnell, himself a polio survivor who suffered from polio early in his life, issued this statement saying, the polio vaccine has saved millions of lives and held out the promise of eradicating a terrible disease. Efforts to undermine public confidence in proven cures are not just uninformed, they're dangerous. Robert Kennedy Jr. has always been a danger to himself and others.